Hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Living.
Today we're going to get back started on this vanity, but we're going to be trying to get this countertop knocked out today. Now this is going to be a different deal for us. I know, shocker, we're doing something new for the first time, but we've seen a lot of people do this online and it doesn't really look that difficult.
We also watched people build a house online, and that didn't look very difficult either. Well, it's pretty obvious that it definitely passed the weight test. This sink that we got is almost 70 pounds, which I was actually really shocked at. Whenever I started to read the specs on it, I saw that it was, I think, like 67 pounds, which is insane. But as y'all can tell, obviously that's not gonna be an issue.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna cut another sheet of 3/4 plywood to go on the top of this. And I'm gonna let this sheet run over about 1/2 inch. That was my intentions when I put this first sheet on, and I actually did allow 1/2 inch of overhang, but I forgot that I was skinning the front of this whole thing with cabinet grade 1/2 inch plywood. So poof, there went my overhang. So we're gonna have to do a little shimming, a little outside of the box thinking to be able to get this thing out there 1/2 inch and sturdy so we can put our trim on the front, bull nose.
I think that the technical term would be bull nose.
It's just trim to me. But anyway, we gotta get all that put in place, get it glued, get it nailed, get the seams caulked, get it all sanded down and get it prepped to put this epoxy on.
And just to be clear, we're dumping the epoxy like straight on the wood, right?
Well, with all of my experience in pouring epoxy on top of plywood to build a countertop, I see that that's absolutely what we're gonna do.
The twice?
Yeah, and that was on concrete, so that doesn't really count. So we're all gonna learn together. No time like the present for everybody to try something and get to learn. You might watch this video today and learn what not to do. In the next video, you might see us all with crowbars tearing this thing apart. Now, we don't know for a fact that it's gonna come off without a hitch, but we're just really gonna keep our fingers crossed. And we have come to really, really like these epoxy products.
This option is going to be a lot cheaper than getting a custom piece put here, marble, ceramic, whatever it would be. So that's why we are going to go more this route. And honestly, we kind of just want to see if it works. Like Jim said, we really like the product. We know that it's durable, so why not try it for a countertop?
Now, it might be a little bit backwards finishing the countertop before we get the doors and the drawers and all those in there, but we
and
have
the wall,
yeah.
and the tile, and the wallpaper. Yeah.
Way to call us out.
Well, this makes sense, I feel like.
Yeah. But the real reason that I'm interested in getting this done first is because when I put the dividers in to put these cabinet doors on, they're 6 foot almost one of 200 and we'll say 50 pounds, make me feel better. That's going to be up in here putting all this plumbing together. And I would much rather have the big open spaces than try to fit myself in between a little bitty cabinet door. You know what I'm saying? You feeling me? There's somebody out there that's thinking, yeah, I do the same thing, Jimbo.
While Jim ran outside to cut that plywood for the countertop, I'm going to come right back into Ladley's room and finish a little project that I've been working on. Just like we did in a few other rooms of our house, we didn't actually buy crown molding. We decided to go with 2 1x4s, which means that there's a seam right in the middle. In the other rooms, it has not been an issue because, you know, just paint it white, no problem. Well, in Ladley's room, I'm painting the ceiling this color called liquid blue, and I really wanted to paint this Cajun modern style crown molding that we got going on here the same color as that liquid blue. So I went ahead and painted those the other day, but that means that I need to figure out how I'm going to caulk all those seams without having to repaint. And that actually brings us into today's sponsor, Sashco. Y'all, I've actually been dying to show y'all this. I am so excited to get into the details of this, but all in all, what this is an exact color match sealant. I am going to show y'all how it works, but this doesn't just work with paint, this actually works with stains too. But for today's project, we are going to be using a water-based paint, so let's get into it. This is just one of Sashco's many products, and this is the Tenable caulk. If you flip it over, it gives you an extremely simple step-by-step on how to do this. Step 1, I'm going to cut this tip off. Step 2 is to inject. Step 3, shake. Hey lads, I need you to shake it for 2 minutes. Step 4, add the thickener. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid back on, shake it again. Y'all can tell now, but the actual bottle is turning blue from the paint that we put in. So it was really, really white before, but now it's getting that blue color. We're gonna shake it again, make it thicker, let it sit for 30 minutes, be good to go. Now that I've waited the 30 minutes, I'm gonna take this cap off that you use for shaking. I'm gonna set it aside because this is actually good for a few weeks after this use. After I get done with this caulking tip that I'm fixing to put on here, I can actually just unscrew it and put the shaking cap back on. And if you're anything like us, our projects typically don't just get done in one day. And it ends up taking a few weeks just to get one area done. And it's a lot of on and off work, especially having a little one or working an hour here, working an hour there. So having that cap is actually really nice because I'm not gonna have this whole tube dried out and not have to go through this process every single time that I need to use just a little bit. Load her in, cut the tip, start caulking. If y'all can tell, it's actually going on a little bit lighter than the color, and that is very, very normal. So don't think that you did anything wrong or feel like you need to add more paint, and it will dry a little bit darker. Now I am taking a little bit of that caulk as well and filling in all of our holes where we had brad nailed this up here. And this is gonna save me so much time not having to go back and paint all this. If y'all want to try out this Tenable caulk or any of Sashco's other products, y'all head over to Lowe's and I'm going to put a link to their page below in the description. So y'all head down there, and thank you so much Sashco for sponsoring this video, and I am so excited to try out the other products that you sent. So we test fitted the 3/4 inch plywood on top of here just to make sure that everything was going to fit before we started gluing. Everything fit perfect. Jim's still outside finishing those final details, so while he's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get these two pieces glued and probably start working on this seam. Yeah, is that how that works? So the overall length of our vanity is,
drum roll, 9 foot 10 inches.
9 foot 10 inches. Okay.
This is the trim that we're going to be using for bull nose, or whatever you want to call it. But you see the issue here. If we just glued it and nailed it in here, then every time you bump the bottom, it'll be wanting to do this. So I think what I'm going to do is take some of this 1/2-inch cabinet grade plywood that I have outside for scrap, and I'm going to cut a piece that's going to tuck right up underneath here, probably about down to this lip, and then you'll be able to push on it all you want, and it'll make it really sturdy. So in all essence, this is PVC trim. Putting it on plywood to cover with epoxy, that's a weird combination. So we're going to err on the side of safety. So we're going to put some liquid nails, fuse it on the back of this thing, on the back of our Vanity trim hood. I think we're just going to put a thin coat on there I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but man, I'd hate to get a couple years down the road and have a little soft spot and crack our epoxy. I don't even know if that's a thing. Does epoxy crack?
But let's try not to find out. That's what we're trying not to do.
You know, we got to thinking before we get ready to put this epoxy, this is PVC trim and it's really, really smooth. We're going to run over it with this little sanding block just to kind of make the surface of this have a little bit of a abrasive area on it. So maybe that epoxy will stick better. It might not be a problem anyway. We just don't know. But we'd feel better if it had a little bit more for the epoxy to stick and grab onto.
This is not our first time using this Rustoleum epoxy product. We did our dining room floor with some. What else did we do with it?
We did the front bedroom.
Oh yeah, we did our front bedroom with this stuff. And we actually had bought this marble white to do the floors in here until I found this tile. We decided on the tile and we did not want this to go to waste. So that's why we're going to be using it for the countertop. And we just thought the idea would be really neat to get done in here. Now it does come with 2 pouches. One pouch is I guess we're gonna call it kind of a pearl color, and then the other one's white. We decided that we were just gonna open up one of the pouches because we didn't want both the colors. We weren't really crazy about the way that that looks. We opened this box up the other day to see if you could tell which pouch has each color in it, and there's no way to tell. So I think we're just gonna gamble and pick one. Hope for the best. Hopefully we like the way that it looks, and I guess if it doesn't, we can just open up the other pouch later on and dump it over that one and hope that we like that one better. Option 1 or option 2?
I think it's a win-win though, because I think I would like the pearl color, but I also think I'd like the white color.
Option 1, option 2.
Let's go with option 2.
That's the one I was gonna. Oh. Okay, let's do this one. Option 2.
Hey, you said that was 1.
No, I did not. Don't start. This is 1. This is 2.
Okay.
This is the one that we're gonna go with. I'm just gonna do it.
I don't really know. I'm just guessing.
I don't think it really
I
matters.
don't remember.
Well,
It shouldn't matter. Well, there it is. Damage is done now.
I do know we need to shake this.
Come on, Pearl.
These are some cups that Jim had bought to actually paint the truck with. And you know what? Countertop comes first. So I'm gonna be using them for that first.
Moment of truth. Let's see what color we picked. Come on, Pearl.
Pearl it is.
There might not be much left in it. Every little bit counts, you know? So, I dump, you smooth? Is that what we're gonna do?
Perfect. This pearl definitely turned out to be more gray
Definitely more gray.
than pearl. So I do think that we are going to open up the white and try to make it look like some lines or marble look to it. You know what I'm talking about? Where you take the torch and you
Yeah, marbly.
marbly. I think we're going to try it. What's it going to hurt? You know? Jim's gonna try this now with this heat gun. I think that the torch was working, but it was almost discoloring the epoxy, so we think it's just getting a little bit too hot. So, I mean, the coloring wasn't bad, but I think the heat gun might work a little bit better.